And the first sign that when the user touches the product and the product breaks, and what happens, this is a real lesson for all of us, where kind of they just said we hate you, like literally bugs, fixes, I need this product, this and that. But I think the best thing when they say hate you, actually they care for that product. So I think, so then our advice, like, it's the best thing that has happened. If you're embarrassed by your product, you have launched at the right time. Hey guys, this is Pawan Gupta. I am the co-founder and CEO of BetterHalf.AI. Welcome to Backstage with Millionaires. Today I'm going to talk about BetterHalf.AI, India's first compatibility product designed for 5 million professionals of India. You are trained that way that the core reason to go to the school is to have the great academics in place so that you have a great job and great stability and great life forward. This is how I did my schooling in a small town, Ranchi. Then obviously, I gave an exam and finally I was in PIT Meshra. I did my engineering, but kind of like I had a gut feeling that this is not the path I want to take. And the model where we are not bringing the innate human potential of somebody is something that's not coming out. So I think in my free time, what happened is I started teaching in the schools around, in the same city. And we were doing a lot of activities, for school children, mainly between the age group of, I think, 8 to 15. We were doing so many activities and we were like, if they can be good in non-academic as well, we can combine this with their academic results and we can give the holistic view of what kind of person they are. This is how, so in fact, 2 years into research and all those things, it happened. So by the time I graduated in 2009, so this company, this educational software company, kind of started. Recession time, we didn't have jobs. In fact, some of my classmates who had jobs. So I was like, hey, anyways, your joining date is going to come after in a year and by that time the startup will be built. So it's fine, you're going to balancing it out. But turned out that when we actually started doing it and started playing with the fire, this is where the actual difficulties come in. Chaotic, messy, your hands are burning, so it's bloody, it's sweat, and it's stressful. But we kind of like had this courageous, feeling and irrational feeling that this is the right way to go. And I would say that that's for every entrepreneur, that whatever you think, in terms of, there has to be some irrational belief, which is kind of an ozone layer, that belief is there and that is not logic, that this is going to happen. Everything else turns out to be the logic. Now we're going to do this and that to make it happen. I think towards second year, we launched our product and actually we captured, in one city, we captured almost quarter of the market. But turned out doing just this part of just building product and selling it, and even break even, getting to the break even, it's way, way, very difficult for entrepreneurs. Especially in a small town where nobody pays. First of all, they don't have much paying capacity. But this is how I was trained, initially, that why don't you just play with fire and be mentally strong and just make your thin, make your skin pretty thick. But I think towards third year was something, this is where it went so stressful that my health was getting affected. Just you need to have a healthy margin to even think on the growth, and if you're not, you're just stagnant. It's like what you say, like it's a virus and you're like, just you cannot come out of it. The best way is just shut it down, rethink where you're going, start again. That's how. In fact, there is a research that goes that by the time you become a successful entrepreneur, it takes 3 to 4 ventures to really learn the patterns on how to build companies. And this is a global research about this. So anyways, then I started applying. I really badly want to go to Stanford, GST for my MBA program. And by that time I had startup, some patents. I applied to like 10 schools, 9 of them rejected me. One school gave me an interview call, and that's MIT. And then I think I was in. So I think MIT was kind enough to take me. I am a loyal machine to that school. Went there in 2013. My focus before going to MIT was, look, I have to some extent, I've built products, I've seen customers, I've seen users, I've seen breakdown of like softwares, but point is I was still not able to grow it, not improve the product and not grow it. So that growing part was missing. So I focused my 2 years at MIT. So in fact, I was doing, so I did a number of projects, with Snapchat co-founder, to WeChat, US head, to Twitter senior management, to IKEAC, which was a kind of like one of the finest competitor to Twitter. And these were some of the Forbes 30 and 30 people, and sometimes even Time 100 most influential people of the world. And when you work with them, you see the most disruptive mindset on growing products and how specific you can do in terms of the bold thinking. So I did that. Then I had my first job, in California. And suddenly, this company, one of the best Series A companies, some of the great, inventors of iMessage, to somebody who have built and sold companies, to Google, to folks like coming from Twitter and Apple, they were working, and I was in. I was looking to their growth and marketing, the product. But what happened? We ran into the financial issues. And that's when kind of things became tricky. So which means, again, I came through a series of decisions that went wrong. So in fact, my 3 experiences, my first startup, I learned what not to do. MIT was about at least getting to the basics of what to do in growing products. Then you're back to the same thing, what not to do. And then I had to make a choice. What do I do from here? So I spoke to some of my mentors. One of them is Rishi Khaitan, who is a MIT Berkeley alumni, has now mentored me for 4 or 5 years. He is now an investor to the company. So he said, look, if you have to look into a job for Silicon Valley, you'll likely keep changing your job every 2 years. And is this something you want to do, or why don't you focus on a problem that you really want to solve and you can stick for a very long period of time and build something really meaningful? Maybe shape lives of people, give jobs, fundraise, and accelerate your learning curve, and in the same provide an impact. That's what you were supposed to do as an MIT grad. And this was very good point for me. And throughout this 1 year into my job in California, I was going through this partner search through a number of Indian matrimonial products, Indian dating products. Even in San Francisco, I was living with Rahul, one of my friends from MIT days itself. So he went to the computer science, and Rahul's engagement broke at that time, first engagement. His engagement broke and my search was starting up. And we were both in a kind of frustrating stage of the life. And our friends in California, Indian friends and Indian friends here, they were all going through the same age, same age group looking for partners. And everybody around us complained for a year. And then after that, we were not okay. We were like, what do we do here? So we started discovering if there are, so we looked into this data, there are 10,000 matchmaking products in the world, 10,000. And 200 million people online look for partners seriously. Where have we gone wrong that even as users, we're still not happy and satisfied with the products? There's something that has gone wrong. What we discovered is that there's it's a global matchmaking flaw that we have not used the data of the relationships of people as a way to personalize and predict search for people, which means prediction search means what attributes of partners you should get, how much you would be happier with somebody, how long it's going to take you to find that partner, how many matches you can get. There is no technology like this. This is how we started this almost little over 2 years back. So we are going to build this world's first technology that has the potential to predict partners. So then we moved to India. We said, okay, as Indians, we understand our Indian users more. We are more likely to be successful. India continues to be our first experimental country, to do that. So we start looking into that, hey, look, we cannot get data from marriage agencies and bureaus about couples and how their relationships are going. We can get this directly. So we started getting this data directly. The next is we said, we always had this worry that how do we get to the users? As entrepreneurs, we always think, right? What we will build, why they want to come. We're like, you know what? We just do it, and do it. And then we just change everything one by one as we get the feedback. So Rahul's skill set was more on web. So we said we want to build a prototype first, for our users. And then we found out what can we do. So we started talking to users. So hey, tell me what can we build for you that's magical and I want to tell to every of your friends. Some of the females told first thing that we look into is the financial stability of a person. So this is how we log. Okay, now it means if there is a pool of professionals in the product, they're going to like it. That's first. The second they said is I'm looking for a better compatibility with them, and there is just no product that offers it. Right now, it's just age, height, caste matching. So we built our own compatibility score. We invented that. Third, they said, look, as we interact, our needs also change because maybe we're looking for something else, but after 10 interactions, my needs change. So it has to be an inbuilt machine learning into the product itself. So we built that for them. These are the 3 pillars we offer. The fourth, which we wanted to do, which the company is still heading to, that at some point, can we do everything for you with the prediction, which means, right now you have, Pandora, Spotify, Ghana, for a music recommendations product. You have Netflix for video recommendations. Okay. You have Amazon for e-commerce recommendations. Where is the recommendations product for partners, like partners? This is what we are doing right now. I think it took us 6-8 months to build our core first product. We launched it last year, March. We publicly launched it in our web. Your story covered us, the number of media covered us. We got like few thousand of users. And the first sign that when the user touched the product and the product breaks, and what happens, this is a real lesson for all of us, where they just said, we hate you, like literally. Bugs, fixes, I need this product, this and that. But I think the best thing when they say hate you, actually they care for that product. So I think, so then our advice was like, it's the best thing that has happened. If you're embarrassed by your product, you have launched the right time. And if you're not, you have just launched it too late. Okay. So then it took us months, 2-3 months to just bugs, fixes, optimizations, features. And then the next was, look, the desktop keep on going. It was around May, June or something. We're like, okay, hey guys, June or something. We're like, we got transition quickly because we're getting the traffic from mobile was growing. We're transition quickly to mobile product. And then our skill set was not there. We had to learn it. Then we hired team, we scaled it up. October, we launched our Android beta. We tested for 1.5 months. Then November, we launched our iOS, tested for a month. December, we launched publicly. And now what happened? So 19th December, we launched our mobile app. We have now crossed 8,000 installs on Android in less than a month now. We closed $500,000 funds in record 60 days. The earliest I closed $100,000 was in 90 minutes. Okay. And this time now, we're preparing for a pre-series A to series A round. Now we know. Unfortunately, there are not number of investors here in the country. Okay. So what we see, I'll tell you, when we interview entrepreneurs, because they come and they say, oh, my venture didn't work out. I tell the reason. So I'm like, okay, why didn't it work out? And they say, look, this investor was there and they kept on promising that they want to fund us. And then they kept meeting us. I gave the metrics, but this investor didn't fund. I said, how many meetings did you do? They said like 100. Then I said, who is responsible? Is that investor or is that the entrepreneur? The answer that I get, most of them, is the investor. I said, no, you are sitting, you are responsible. Why did you allow that to happen? You could have stopped, you could have saved hundreds of hours. So the problem what's happening is there are 100 investors, 100,000 entrepreneurs. And all entrepreneurs, they have great dreams about their products and services. They want to solve some real problems. And I hope not many of them are just money minded and all. You make money, but just solve some problems. When you approach, okay, to a very limited, it's like jamindars, right? When you go there and jamindars are few and you are like farmers, what do? You want to have like pay interest rate, and that's what is happening. And when the jamindars, in this case the investors, most of them, I'm not saying there's some exceptions by the way, okay, but most of them, if you're not an engineer or a product person, or if you have not built a company, how do you relate to the soft traits of building it when things are way stressful than you think? You are sitting in an AC office, good coffee, good tea, good chair, okay, like nice, whatever, like, it's kind of like team around. It's way cozy. Look into the entrepreneurs like life. It's way hard and way stressful. Okay. Now in this case, when you are doing this, and then you are evaluating somebody's work based on an Excel sheet. Okay, do you even understand how this, I'm saying this is important at a certain point, we're going to run the business, but I'm saying, how does this person think and get there? If you're not taking this into a consideration, you'll likely be a bad investor. And that's one of the core reasons as investors we have failed in India. We have not served. We have not done well. Okay, and in fact, the culture till 2 years back was the first thing that you do is fire the entrepreneurs. How do you need a safe, welcoming, encouraging environment plus accountable as well? Be accountable, but you need that encouragement and focus on the intellect and problem solving rather than the being cynicism, okay, or blame game or something. I hear daily stories while interviewing, daily stories that this investor is stewed, this investor. I'm like, man, I just would not want to spend time into this. Okay, we decided, so the number of investors for BetterHalf, okay, who has invested in this company who are located in India is 0. is zero. We have 95% of investors in the US, 5% Singapore. We closed these funds, and I'll tell you how they evaluated, okay, the number of investors who have funded us. Who are the founders? Where's the vision? How big this could go? Can they build products? Do they have a plan? And where is now the metrics, okay? How is the metrics shooting up? But this metrics conversation didn't start in the first 1 minute. They were very much into the cultural side and the mindset of this, and they continue to back us. The number of bad investors that we have signed so far is zero. Okay, we are the first company using AI as an advanced technology to match people with their finest requirements. Okay, we are growing at 40% month on month today. We are used by over 15,000 users today. We just acquired 5,000 and 10,000 just last month itself. We are adding 5,000 to 10,000 every month, okay, to our product now. We expect to cross 1 million user base in the next 2 years. And I think where we are heading to, we want to become the world's largest relationship company. Right from not just helping you in finding your partner, but helping you retain that relationship for a longest period of time. I have been awarded as the 1440 people for India for a data scientist. So that award is happening on 31st of January. But I think likely this year, we'll be the top 10 startups of the country. So we think on a very disruptive mindset, and we equally bring people who have very similar mindset. Some of my guys who are working with us, they might go to Stanford and MIT, and we are very, very focused on creating that path, for them. So I think it's a long way to go. At least if we can get to next 5-10 million users from this product, and then we focus on next 100 million people. Okay, and how do we help couples, as a way to retain their relationships? It's going to be great. It's going to be a huge journey, okay, from here. So this was my journey building BetterHalf.AI. Thanks for watching this episode. If you like it, do share with among other set of entrepreneurs and friends. And by the way, if you'd like to know more about BetterHalf, just comment it, and I would be personally answering to your questions. And just make sure if you're looking, by the way, do register on BetterHalf product and just share it. Thank you.